Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Jorge Perez, and I'm the Executive Director at HACIA. I want to welcome you to our September membership meeting that we're doing via webinar, and we're doing live from what we call the HACIA studios here on Lake Street in Chicago, Illinois. We're also streaming live on YouTube, and want to let you know that we're recording this and we'll be putting it in our archives of videos so you can go back to our YouTube channel and down in the future and check us out, and make sure you like us and subscribe to our channel. We've got some great content there of previous events that we've had via this platform, but we also have video recap and of our events that we've had throughout the years, and some member profiles as well. So I welcome you to look through those, and again, make sure you click like and subscribe to our channel. Again, on behalf of our board of directors, I want to welcome you. We made the pivot to this platform because we still can't be in person. So some folks are calling this the pandemic version of HACIA membership meetings, but we know it's critical to still get you the information that you need for your business, upcoming bid opportunities, and also highlight some individuals and make sure you know some good news that's going around. I did want to remind everybody, as you well know, we didn't have a boat cruise this year, or what we call the Developers Cruise of the Chicago River. We had that in conjunction with several big developers along the Chicago River over the last few years. And unfortunately, because of the limitations on the actual vessel, the Odyssey Chicago River vessel, that we were not able to host it. So we will reschedule that to next year. And so we definitely look forward to that. We did have a very successful golf outing last month, and thank you to all of those who attended, and for those of you who sponsored and purchased tickets. The event went very well. We sold off the event, both courses, over at Silver Lake Country Club in Orland Park. I did want to let everybody know that because of the success of that, we are going to have another golf outing on October 1st, again, at Silver Lake. But this time it's going to be a combination of what would be our holiday party, in which we raise dollars for our HACIA Scholarship Fund, that we give out scholarships every year at our annual banquet to deserving Hispanic students who are studying architecture, engineering, or construction management. So on October 1st, we will be having our first ever golf outing for the HACIA Scholarship and Education Foundation. Big difference there is those dollars are tax deductible, and we've received quite a bit of interest in it now, and some purchases as well. So you'll be hearing more about that in the next couple of days, and we ask that you support this as well. It's a truly important endeavor for us, and we look forward to that. I did want to also welcome some individuals here today who are watching us as guests of HACIA, but they've been enrolled in one of our new partnerships that we have through HACIA U, and that's with Innovation DuPage. For the last probably 20, 30 years, we've wanted to reach out further out in DuPage in Lake County, and we've done it to a certain extent through the tollway and some of the technical assistance grants that we've received there. And we've done that with St. Augustine College, but we've broadened that with a new partnership with Innovation DuPage and their owner to CEO program. And we've had about 10 companies or 8 individuals enrolled in that. This is their final week. We also had to pivot those courses online, but the good folks over at Innovation of DuPage have been really effective in walking these owners of these businesses through a real dynamic engagement of them becoming more leaders in their businesses, being more effective in their management of their businesses, and looking at ways to be more profitable and obviously grow their business. So I want to welcome all those folks from Innovation DuPage, from the cohort. Thank you. I do want to give an opportunity here to recognize our sponsors for this membership meeting. And so if you give me a second here, we're going to pull up some slides. All right, we first off want to thank Wintrust Bank. Thank you very much. We want to thank People's Gas. We also want to thank Bear Paint, or Bear Pro. We also want to thank Hilco Redevelopment Partners. We also want to thank ComEd. And as new bronze sponsors, we want to thank KRD, Cutchins, Robbins, and Diamond. We also want to thank Barton and Malo. We also want to thank Sumac. What you see here on the slide is a recognition that we do at our membership meetings, and that's to the individuals and members who've been with us for 5, 10, 15, 20, or 30 years. We do want to thank for a 5-year celebration as a member, Solares Home Improvement. Thank you, Edilio. AGV Construction and Wintrust. As a 10-year member, we want to thank Moen Inc. And we also want to thank Walsh Construction Company and thank them for rejoining HACIA. As a 15-year member, we want to recognize ComEd. Thank you. We also want to thank Formworks Design Studio. We also want to thank Tristan and Cervantes. As a 20-year sponsor and member, we want to thank Kara Miller Contractors. Thank you very much, Keith. We know a lot of our regular members have done work with you, and we appreciate you being a long-standing 20-year member. And we also want to thank, as a 30-year member, and this is one of the rarities, R&I Ornamental Iron Incorporated. Thank you very much for your long-standing support of HACIA for 30 years. We really appreciate it. All right, as new members that we've welcomed in August and September, we want to recognize these individuals. We have some associate members that were welcomed in. We have Tiles Inc. Style, which is also known as Taza Construction, which is also known as Taza Supplies. Thank you, Husan Ezi. We also want to thank Axiom Contractors. Rochelle Moreno is president there. We also want to welcome Sarah Solution. Stephen Vaughn is president there. DPI Management Group, Yuri Huff is CEO there. The Gephardt Group, we want to welcome them. Joanna Seismed, welcome. And that's another associate member that we welcomed in August. And in the last couple of weeks, we want to welcome these new members. Ancomex, Angelica Corral, welcome as a new associate member. And as a new regular member, Rosalado Incorporated, Carmen Rosalado is president there, welcome. We also want to welcome as a corporate member this month, we want to welcome Joseph J. Duffy Company, Mike Mozal is president there, welcome. So thank you to all of you who've chosen to be a member. If you're not a member of HACIA and if you'd like to register and fill out an application and send it in during this broadcast, you will receive a 15%, that's 15% discount on the annual dues for that. We know that you all have an opportunity to choose who you join, who you stay with, and we try our best to make sure that you're all engaged in what we do here. Now, we did want to highlight this slide. Many of you may know that this is Fall Protection Week, or the National Fall Protection Week, which runs all of this week from the 14th through the 18th. And many of you know that we've partnered with the Latino Worker Service Center over the last couple of years to do a various amount of training in OSHA 10, OSHA 30, fall protection, scaffold erecting, CPR. But we wanted to highlight fall protection. Statistically, it's a Hispanic worker that actually becomes a fatality mostly every day throughout the country here. And we know that it's because of the falls. So fall protection and doing those stand down this week is of critical importance to not only the community, but obviously to your business as well. And so we want to make sure that you've done those. If you haven't, please do so. Take an opportunity to take some time with your team out in the field and make sure that you go over and talk about fall protection as well. So I want to recognize a lot of the good work that Dan Ramir has done with us in partnership, and knowing that bringing safety and the culture of safety into our membership and your workers is of utmost importance. So thank you. All right, at this point, we're going to go on to our first member presenters. I think we first got the Public Building Commission. We have Ray Gitteroff, who's a longstanding friend of HACIA. He is correct me if I'm wrong, Ray, you are the head of development for the PBC?
Yes, or the Chief Development Officer. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll hand off the floor to you. And Chris Aguirre is managing our board, and so she'll run through the slides as well. So Ray Gitteroff, floor is yours.
Thank you, brother, and it's good hearing your voice. I'm happy to be on with HACIA. Wish I could see the HACIA studios. I'm not on a computer, but I hear it's quite extraordinary. And Christine, I think you've got the presentation I sent over this morning. Jorge?
Yeah, you're on. First slide is
okay. All right. Thank you. So, if we can, before I get started, first things first. Under tremendous circumstances that we've all endured since January, and working together, protecting one another, which has been one of the Public Building Commission's priorities, and the mayor's priority, of course, is number one, making certain that all of our people, everybody that works on our projects, is safe, and that their well-being is secure, and that we share in the lessons that we've learned, not just from what we do here in Chicago or Illinois, and how we correspond and share knowledge with other states as it relates to their protocols and supply chain matters, and how we just deal with this pandemic. So that's been our number one priority, is to protect our people and make sure that they're safe and healthy. Second priority has been to make sure that everybody's employed. That's also a priority for all of us. Is number one, protecting our people. Number two, ensuring that they're employed. And then number three, executing the work in that order. Because if the first two fall off, then really the project loses its significance. We've been tracking, and I just want to make this point, Jorge, to you and your membership and everyone that's on the phone, and those that are not on the phone that might listen to this later. Our success collectively as a city, as an agency, as your organization, HACIA, has been working together and trying to identify mitigation strategies to ensure that our work sites are safe, not just from fall protection, which is important, but from the issues related to this pandemic. And I can tell you that without our partners at HACIA, the Chicago Public Schools, the mayor's office, all of the unions, my counterparts across 17 different states that we've been communicating with, we wouldn't be here today. We've been tracking our COVID issue. We've been preparing for this at the Public Building Commission since December. I'll just make that clear, and that it's something new for us all. We started to track this matter since then, work with everybody involved for the right protocols for project-specific issues and everything that comes with that. We had our first reported case in April. We've been tracking this matter. We've had over 70,000 people working on our sites. That includes vendors and suppliers, subcontractors. Since our first reported case of COVID, of the 70,461 people that have been working on our job sites directly or indirectly, we've only had 20 confirmed cases. And nothing makes me happier today on this phone call than the report that all 20 of those people are doing well. They're back to work, their families are doing well, and there's nothing more important to me. So I just wanted to make that clear, Jorge. I know that you've been an incredible partner, and I consider HACIA family. And under tremendous circumstances and situations where we had no business recovering from all of the impacts on our projects, whether they're shutting the project down, which I've had to do on more than one occasion, on more than one project site, to ensure that we're working safely, or the numerous supply chain impacts, whether it's Mexico, Canada, France, New York, Tennessee, or Pennsylvania, or strike-related matters in other states related to this pandemic. I can tell you that thanks to the subcontractors and vendors who are the lifeline of our projects, right? They are the lifeline of what we do. In conjunction with the unions and our partners at the Chicago Public Schools specifically. With that sort of collaborative approach, everybody on this phone call, should be commended for their hard work, because we were able to deliver 11 schools before school opening, right? Under these circumstances. Without the lifeline of our projects, which are the subcontractors and vendors and the tradespeople, the men and women that work on our jobs, those 11 schools would not have been delivered in the middle of a pandemic with multiple shutdowns and supply chain impacts, everything that you can imagine, from a drinking fountain to ceramic tile, air handling units, and you name it, we've had it. Our partners at all of the local unions have been tremendous partners, a lot of guidance, a lot of good conversations with regard to how we manage our work, and of course, related to the schools. Can't thank the CPS enough for their understanding and their patience as we work through this pandemic. And I don't want to dismiss that, Jorge. I think it's the most important thing that I can talk about as it relates to this work that we've completed. We've had our construction managers that I can't thank enough on the 11 schools, all of the architects and professional service providers that I'm going to talk about in a minute with regard to upcoming opportunities, and their tremendous work. In June of 2018, we were requested to undertake a program. We worked with CPS in the mayor's office at that time related to the program. This is in June and July of 2018. We worked quickly and efficiently to appoint architects in that year, December of 2018, along with construction managers at that time, along with construction managers that were appointed in February of 2019, in order to move this program forward. And I'm not certain if everybody is aware, but the Decatur Classical Elementary School, which happens to be in the IEPA's SRP program, that started out 120 days behind schedule, was delivered in time for school opening. Without our partners, that wouldn't have happened. The McDade Classical Elementary Annex Project, the Palmer Elementary School Annex Project, the Poe Classical Elementary School Project, the Rogers Elementary School Annex Project, Dirksen Elementary School Annex Project, which happens to be one of our larger annexes this year, approximately 65,000 square feet. Of note, Passion and Boa, along with Studio ARQ and SMNGA, did an incredible job, right? Because Dirksen was scheduled for delivery in November. But thanks to everybody working on the project, we were managed to finish that work in time for school opening this year. That's no small feat. The Waters Elementary School project, the Corliss High School renovations, the Kenwood Academy High School renovations, the Locke Elementary School renovations, with Rada as the architect, Berglund as the construction manager. Locke was originally scheduled to be delivered next August, but thanks to everybody working together, and it wasn't easy. There were a lot of debates, a lot of great discussion, but happy to report the project, a Deaver Beam project such as Locke being able to, being delivered a year ahead of schedule wouldn't have happened without everybody working together. The Washington High School renovations, it's those types of projects, Jorge, that it can't be lost on everybody on this phone call, the pride that Chicago brings to the construction industry, right? And then the professional service providers that have to work hand in hand under this format to deliver the program. While we keep everybody safe, ensure that they're employed, and then deliver the projects. So I don't know how else to say that other than without organizations like HACIA and others, I think that we would be short in being able to deliver. Without our partners at all of the unions, we would not have achieved what we were able to achieve this year. So I wanted to say that, Jorge. I don't want that to be missed. We do have a couple of other projects currently under construction, scheduled for completion in October. One of them is the engine company 115, and proud to report that we have a 100% minority-owned design builder in Ujamaa and Trice Construction. It's an incredible design build team that we're proud of. We have the Legler renovations that are ongoing with passion. And then as we finish that work up, I can get into, sort of what we've got coming up here in different ways that HACIA and its membership can get involved. I don't want to leave out the Merlot branch renovations that were completed by Solid under our Jock program. Some of you may have heard about that project and have maybe seen it through our different alerts, but that in itself is an incredible renovation project that revitalized and allowed the community to have a brand new library essentially without demolishing this building. An incredible project. So I wanted to make that statement, Jorge, because I think it gets lost on a lot of people with regard to what we just underwent together. We're not through it. We're still working on those matters. And Jorge, I know that I communicated with you with regard to our protocols that we collectively worked on with CPS to make sure that everybody's safe. So with that being said, without getting overly emotional about the pride that I have working with HACIA's membership, I wanted to talk about some upcoming projects currently. Some of you on the phone call are aware of the fact that we've got a couple of projects out. We have one project out there right now. It's a connecting path over at the Taft Freshman Academy, and I'm sorry, I'm probably making you guys crazy skipping around, but I'm on slide 6. I think it's slide 6. And the procurement dates are listed there. And we also have an upcoming project with regard to a salt dome facility on Grand Avenue. We have other opportunities, Jorge, and everybody listening, that we're working with our clients on, working closely with everybody to ensure that we're properly undertaking that work, that we have a procurement process in place in order to do that. We have effectively and efficiently utilized our Jock program. We have a 3-tiered pre-qualified list of contractors. It's important to note that connecting path at the Taft Academy will go through our Jock procurement for the Tier 2 and Tier 3 contractors. Just to remind everybody, I think, Jorge, we've talked about this before. Thanks to Karina Sanchez and Lori Lipson, as part of how do we increase participation in our general contracting community and so on and so forth, there was a decision made to pre-qualify Jock contractors under a tiered system. The first tier is work estimated at less than $300,000. Second tier would be work estimated, construction value estimated at $300,000 to $1 million. And then the tier 3 would be anything over $1 million. We did that in order to allow for the smaller general contractors with regard to capacity to be able to bid competitively on our work. And obviously, depending on the estimate for the value of construction, we will procure the work accordingly. One thing I did want to say is, I know that we focus a lot on construction, but the most important part of our business is planning and design. I can say that with an open mind and an open heart. A lot of our work during planning and design is where we identify issues, understand program and scope, and address standard of care, and so on and so forth, right? And I say that to remind everybody on the phone call that we have a database of engineers and architects in which we rely on. Some of you on the phone call, I'm not certain how many professional service providers are on the call, but some of you have been receiving calls from one of my deputies in planning and design with regard to different opportunities. And the point behind that is, if I may, Jorge, our letters of interest and qualifications is important. Number one, it's a database of professional service providers. Unfortunately, what happens over time is our architects and engineers oftentimes go through changes, or fortunately, it could be, and the changes could be operational, the type of business, experience, completed projects. And what happens is, as we review our database, we don't have time to call every architect and every engineer in our database to say, are you still conducting business as? Are you still operating under these parameters? Is your area of experience in this arena, meaning municipal work versus school construction versus renovation work versus new construction? The most important thing, Jorge, if you can get this message to your membership, is asking those professional service providers to update their qualifications, get those submitted. It's really that easy. Once they are submitted, we update our database to include any operational changes, experience, capacity, and so on and so forth. Because as these opportunities come up for us, whether they're feasibility studies or they're the design architect opportunities, architect of record opportunities, or engineer of record opportunities. And there may be those that might ask, well, how many opportunities are there for engineers of record? Well, we've done that a couple of times already. In fact, we have an engineer of record currently working for us, Millhouse, on the Kenwood renovation project. So we do rely on our database, and our database is only as good as the latest information that we get from our architects and engineers as part of their letters of interest and qualifications. That I don't want to be long-winded, Jorge, but that pretty much concludes where we are. I did want to mention those two projects, the connecting path at Taft and the new salt dome that we're building for AIS and streets and sanitation. So I can stop talking for a minute, Jorge, and if there's questions, I can answer those.
Okay, Ray, just that I should have mentioned this at the very beginning, and we're trying a different platform for questions and interactions from folks. So if you check the Zoom invite link that we sent when you registered for this as an attendee, you should have a link in there for select social Q&A,
Okay.
and then post the question. So for all the viewers who are watching this now, and I think Christina had also mentioned that in the chat as well, if you have any questions, we are using a different platform this time that we're beta testing. Do we have any questions that have come up? All right. Ray, here's a question. What are some of the changes regarding the schedule of projects?
changes regarding the schedule, is that related to current work, or is that future work?
I'm going to say future work.
Okay.
Because of COVID,
So
because of the pandemic, Ray.
I understand. So from schedule as it relates to construction for future work, is that, I just want to make sure that I'm going to answer the question properly.
That's correct.
I'm sorry, I'm not in front of a computer.
That's fine.
Okay, so as it relates to future work, let's discuss the connecting path at Taft Academy. First of all, there are COVID-19 protocols that we have established for any work. In this case, for this connecting path, the majority of the work, of course, is all of the work is outdoors. But I don't foresee any impacts to the construction schedule related to COVID-19, other than, you know, our ability to enforce the COVID-19 protocols, ensuring that the awarded contractor has a project-specific safety plan, which includes its own COVID-19 protocols. You know, oftentimes I'm asked, well, what is PBC's protocol? And really, because PBC doesn't build, as this is in OSHA reg, the contractors must provide the protocol in which they are going to follow. Our protocols are related to those that we developed together with CPS for, you know, face coverings, temperature readings, surveys of tradesmen and women, and understanding that aspect of it. So with regard to execution schedule, as we're working towards the connecting path, knowing that we anticipate issuing the intent to award later this month, negotiating the detailed proposal of the not to exceed lowest amount submitted by one of the Jock contractors in early October, and then looking to issue a notice to proceed by first or second week of October. The only issue there with schedule will be related to weather, because this is outdoor work. But I don't at this point, if we continue to work efficiently and that we're smart about how we do things, maintain the established protocols, I don't see any big challenges that we haven't been able to overcome already since the beginning of the year. I hope that answers the question.
I think it does. We do have another question right here. Here it is. How does the PBC procure civil engineering needs?
Okay, that is an excellent question. And we rely on our letters of interest and qualifications. We have a separate database for our architects and a separate database for our engineers. It's the most important thing that I can convey on this phone call is to make certain that all of those professional service providers, even those that haven't submitted their letters of interest and qualifications, we need those. We need to understand what these firms can provide, what their capacity is, what their experience is, what changes they've made operationally to enhance their services. There's been a lot of movement, as we all know, in this industry, whereas directors of one firm leave and work at another firm, and now there's a new element to the type of service that firm A provides versus the firm that previously had submitted their LIQs. And there have been several instances where that's happened, but we're unaware of it because the qualifications from the professional service providers weren't updated and submitted to us. And accidentally, as we're doing currently on a separate project, to contact our database, our professional service providers, we come to find, well, architect A that used to do this type of work has now hired 3 more people, one of them being a director of something that has been able to produce work at the levels or within the benchmarks or the parameters that we're providing, even if the firm itself did not have previous experience in that arena. Bringing on a personnel or staffing that helps enhance that work, that helps us, because previously all I can go by is what's in the database, what's in the letters of interest and qualifications. And if the civil engineer, in this case we're talking about, is able to do more than civil engineering, that they've got a civil engineering component, of course, that they've mastered over time. And now they're also working on, other elements of that work that may be advantageous to, at the time when we were working with this professional service provider on this connecting path, then that would have been helpful, right? Because we don't have a large amount of those types of professional service providers, and sometimes our work is not large in construction budget, but as important on the design and engineering side. And Jorge, so I think the most important thing is for these professional service providers to update their qualifications and get it over to us so that we can update our database. Because when we're looking at the database, we'll look at engineer A, B, and C, and comparatively, all 3 of them have different types of experiences that may or may not fit the parameters that we're working within, whether that be scope, program, budget, schedule, whatever that might be. And fortunately or unfortunately, we do rely on our database. Fortunately, we have a database. We utilize the database. We've appointed architects and engineers based on the database. So that's the good news, right? And it wasn't by accident that almost every single architect and engineer that was appointed to our current school program in December of 2018, it's not by accident that the majority of those firms were M or WBE firms. I mentioned some of them on this phone call when I was talking about these 11 schools that we just turned over. That's not by accident. And those are master agreements that we have with those architects, in one case with Millhouse as the engineer of record, that allows them to perform future work with us based on a task order based approval. So that's a big deal for us. And these smaller firms that are listening that oftentimes feel left out, maybe the best way to overcome that is to update the letters of interest and qualifications so that we can update our database so that we can work with the smaller firms on whatever the task might be. It could be a $20,000 feasibility study, for example. That's not a real scenario, but hypothetically, it could be that. And we will want to reach out to the smaller firms. Case in point.
Let me jump in here.
Go ahead.
So just on respectful time. So definitely update your letters of interest and qualifications as well. But a couple more questions. One of the viewers is looking at, would you be able to update everyone on the status of the Belmont Traeger Elementary School project?
I think, Jorge, that's being reviewed currently. We're considering that project with our client at the Chicago Public Schools. So out of respect, I would prefer allow PBC and CPS to work through that project, and then at a later time I can provide an update if you don't mind.
Okay, all right. We go on to the next question. Do you guys at the PBC accept certifications to meet the minority participation from DBE firms that are not MBE?
Allow me, Jorge, one thing about me, if I don't know the exact answer, I'm not going to pretend like I do. So please allow me to follow up with our procurement and compliance department on that, and I can get you a response to that if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, because in the same line of questions is, do you accept the CMS, Central Management Services of the State of Illinois certification as well?
Okay, those two items I will follow up on, no problem.
Okay. All right, do we have any more questions, Juan? All right. We did have a question that came in, and yes, we will be having our membership meetings via this platform. Again, unfortunately, we cannot go to the East Bank Club because of the limitations on the crowd size still by issue of the governor and the mayor. So this is the platform we're going to be using, and we're still going to be sending out some and highlighting some videos as well. So that's why I'm asking, just click like and subscribe to this channel. You'll get those updates regularly. So there is a scheduled October 14th membership meeting. We will have an update on Create, which is the freight railroad upgrade that's been going on probably for the past 15, 20 years. There's additional projects that are being put out to bid. It still isn't over yet. As many of you know, this is the rail hub of the nation. So updating that freight infrastructure has been of the utmost importance. So if we don't have any more questions, oh, hold on, one more question came in late, Ray. Is there a RFQ process for PVC for A&E professional service projects, or is that the pre-qualification system that you use?
Right, so we don't have a specific procurement for that, Jorge. In the case that there may be a design build project, such as the Hancock project, where there was an RFQP that was issued, in that case, that design build team, which happens to be KRM and All Masonry, that were awarded the Hancock project, they had Urban Works and Leggett Architects working with them on that team. In that scenario, there will be an RFQP process to select the design builder. But otherwise, no, we rely on our letters of interest and qualifications.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, Ray, thank you very much. Appreciate you being on. And you know, when you get that info, we'll make sure everyone who's attended today gets the update and the answers. So appreciate you being on, Ray. And at this point,
of course, anytime.
All right. And at this point, we're going to switch over to our next speaker. And that's Edward Oliveri. He's with the Cook County's Office of Procurement. And I don't have your title here, Edward. So at this point, we're going to switch over to you. I think we have some slides. And so if you could start off just by introducing yourself, the floor is yours, Edward.
Sounds great. Thank you, Jorge. Yeah, my name is Edward Olivieri, and I'm the Director of Contract Compliance for Cook County. And so my office administers the MBE and WBE program for Cook County government and for Cook County Health. On behalf of the President Preckwinkle and the Board of Commissioners, we're honored to be here. Very excited to be talking with you all today. Today, we're going to be giving you a sneak preview of an outreach, a large outreach event around our Jock program that we're going to be pushing out at the end of this month, the 29th, 30th, and the 1st of 29th and 30th of September and the 1st of October. But we wanted to provide a little sneak preview for HACIA members, overview of Jock, and then a little bit more in depth on the small business enterprise component of the Jock program. And so if we can go to the next slide. So what is Jock? So Jock stands for Job Order Contracting, and it's a procurement methodology that's indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity construction, which allows many projects to be completed through a single competitively awarded contract. And that single bid process allows those projects to move through the procurement process faster than if we were to put each individual project out on the street. The typical contract duration is initial 2-year term with 2 optional 1-year extensions. And it's a performance-based contract. If you go to the next slide. So this is an overview of some of the types of projects that, that have been let through Jock in the past. So everything from interior renovations, asbestos removal, flooring, sidewalk, demolition, masonry, roofing, paving, a whole variety of things. And they could be substantial in terms of repaving the parking lot at the Cook County Jail to installing closets. So lots and lots of projects are let through Jock, and it's a fantastic opportunity for our smaller firms, and particularly our MBE and WBE firms, which is the focus of my office, to participate. And we're hoping for very, very robust participation. And so one of the things that we've done in the past, and we're going to be doing again this year, is under the umbrella Jock contracts, there are going to be several will be let there. We're calling SBE, SBE for small business enterprise. And if we could go to the next slide, talk about what are some of the potential umbrella contract assignments. And so at this point, we're anticipating 6 awards for general contractors, 3 mechanical, 3 electrical, 2 demolition, and 2 site work. And then similarly, but under SBE, right? So 4 for GCs, 3 for mechanical, 2 electrical, 2 demolition, and then 2 site work. And those are the dollar amounts that are that we're looking at right now. The contract isn't going to be let until 2021. We want to make sure that we're pushing out information about it as early as possible, because we want firms to start to prepare and start to network, make connections with primes if they intend to be subs, and with subs if they intend to be primes. And so the SBE is an interesting aspect of it. And so I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about it in depth, because it goes directly to the issue of certification. If we can go to the next slide. All right, good. So all contracts are going to have our MBE and WBE 24% MBE, 10% WBE participation goals. And when we say those goals, for Cook County, we accept Cook County certified MBE and WBEs and City of Chicago certified MBE and WBEs. And so if you have one of those certifications, then your participation will go towards meeting the MBE and WBE goals. And that applies to all contracts. With respect to the SBE contracts, we're still going to have the 24 and 10 M&W, but there's going to be an overall SBE goal of 51%. And so, talk about SBE in a moment. For those City and Chicago certified MBEs and WBEs, their participation will count both towards the MBE and WBE goal and the SBE goal. And SBE is a race and gender neutral methodology where MBE, which is obviously a minority focus, which is race focused, and women, which is gender focused, those certifications will count, but there's also going to be non-race and gender neutral certifications. If we go to the next slide. So what exactly is an SBE? And so there isn't an SBE certification, but for purposes of the Cook County Jock program, the following certifications are considered SBEs. And so you can see that matrix. So Cook County, so the 5 certifications that we offer, MBE, WBE, veteran business enterprise, service disabled veteran business enterprise, and person with disability veteran enterprise. Similarly with the City of Chicago has the same certifications. The state of Illinois, minority, female, persons with disability, and then veterans and service disabled veterans. The Small Business Administration, 8A and Hub Zone, and then if you're a DBE certified by the UCP at any of the certifying agencies. And so what this goes to show is that if you have any of these certifications, your participation is going to meet the SBE goal. And if you're a Cook County or City of Chicago certified M or W, your participation is going to achieve both goals. And so if you are certified by, if you do not have the Cook County or City of Chicago MBE or WBE certification, we strongly encourage you to come and get it. We typically, at Cook County, typically turn around our certifications in about 90 days, assuming that all the documents are in order and that vendors are responsive. We're continuing to work remotely and continuing to process certifications as before, if anything, a little bit faster, people working remotely. So we want to encourage people to come and get those certifications if they haven't gotten them yet. If you go to the next slide. And so this is the most important piece. So we're going to be doing much more deep dive Jock info webinars with the Gordian Group and our Department of Capital Planning, who are going to be administering the Jock program. And those are going to be at the dates on the slide, September 29th, September 30th, and October 1st. We're going to be pushing out to all assist agencies, including HACIA, this information so that all members will have this. If you're certified by any of those agencies, city, county, state, you'll also be receiving these links. We're hoping to have very robust participation and lots of questions. The other component is that we're going to be collecting information from people who attend, and we're going to make that available to any attendees, and it's also going to be available on our website. We want our business owners to be able to have access to know who's interested in this so that they can network. And we want to do that as early as possible so that there's plenty of time for primes and subs to get together and to build out their teams. We're also hoping that our MBE, WB, et cetera, certified firms participate both as primes and subs. And so the SBE component is to help those smaller firms to be able to get to that level. But we also encourage joint ventures, and we encourage our certified firms to participate as primes, even on the non-SBE contracts. Our experience has been it's a tremendous opportunity for our construction firms to be able to gain experience within Cook County and then to leverage that experience in other governmental agencies, because Jock is a very common method of procurement in government. And so the more participation we have on this will fuel participation in, at the PBC and at the City of Chicago and at other governmental entities. And so we're hoping to have very, very robust participation. We want some questions. We want to make sure that everyone has what they need in order to be successful. And so final slide, we can move to that. And so this is a question piece. And so questions about SB, the SB component of Jock, MB and WB compliance, there's my information and my email address. I really want to hear from folks. I'm very interested in connecting with industry because that's the way that we in government learn how to modify our operations to facilitate more participation. So I want to hear from you. And then for general Jock questions, two of our folks at the Gordian Group, Michael Batchman and Freeman Banks, are also available to talk about how the Jock is going to operate from an operational perspective in terms of what documents you're going to need, insurance, things like that. But all of that is going to be shared at those information sessions on September 29th, 30th, and October 1st. And we're looking forward to HACIA members participating and swinging for the fences and being good partners with us as you all have been for many, many years. We're grateful for our partnership with HACIA and grateful to do business with HACIA members. And so I think I'll open it up to questions now.
All right. Thank you, Edward. Just give me a second here. Just go Juan. All right. So first question, Edward, are Jock awarded firms allowed to procure subwork on an ongoing basis?
I think how I understand that question, I just want to make sure that I'm getting it correct. Are those who are awarded Jock contracts able to participate in other contracts? Absolutely. Anything that hits the street is open for anyone. We want robust participation on every contract that we elect. And so, no, we would encourage you to bid on work and to leverage our office for support in making connections and building those relationships necessary, because we want folks to keep coming back and back, continuing to do work with Cook County and leverage that experience to do work elsewhere and continue to grow your businesses.
Okay. All right, next question. Jock will be awarded to 2-level prime contractors?
So the Jock contract is there's gonna be a number of umbrella. So the contracts are all umbrella contracts, and what that means is that they're awarded based on, and we're gonna get more into this in the larger Jock outreach, but on an adjustment factor on pricing. So there's a price book. They're going to be awarded based on that, and then individual projects are assigned to the various contracts, to the various primes, and then the primes will work with their subs to get those done. So either the prime will do it or the subs will do it, all while maintaining those goals. And so the primes will have to work with their teams and their partners, MB, WB, and SB partners, to make sure that those goals are met over the course of the contract. But as projects are assigned to those contracts, then they will get done. I hope that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All
If
right,
it doesn't,
so,
please ask another question. I'd be happy to clarify.
no. Oh, here's another one. All right. So will there be an opportunity to use CMS certification in the process of a firm graduating from the MBE program?
Yeah. So if you're CMS certified, you can participate as an SBE. So on those SBE contracts, even though you would be graduated out of, say, the Cook County program, but you're still certified as an MBE at CMS. I'm assuming that's the situation. In that situation, that firm would be able to participate and receive credit as a SBE. Also, anyone can participate as a prime, right? There's no certification doesn't mean that you can only participate within the constraints of the goal. And an MB or WB firm can certainly be a prime irrespective of their certification. But certification adds value to the extent that there are those goals, and a participation of a certified firm meets those goals. That's the benefit of the certification. But there's always an opportunity to participate as a prime, whether you're certified or not certified.
Gotcha. Very good. Are there any changes that is there any changes that the MWB cap will be increased in the near future?
We don't have any plans on that currently right now. The size standards are a very important component to the legal defensibility of the program. Without size standards, then we're no longer certifying people who are economically disadvantaged.
Edward.
How about now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so the size standards and the personal net worth caps address the issue of economic disadvantage, which is important for the legal defensibility of the program. And so as of right now, there's no plans on modifying that.
Okay. All right, so another question. Do we need to sign up for the Jock sessions that you mentioned on the previous slide, or just go to the links you provided at the time indicated?
You'll be getting it. Yeah, that's a great question. You'll be getting an email which will have the specific links. And so I would ask that you wait until you get that. And the reason being is because we're going to be asking for some contact information through that registration process. And your contact information is going to go into a database that's going to be shareable with everyone who participates. So when you get the invite, that's the time to register.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that's the last of our questions. Chris, is that the last of it? Oh, I think we have one more. Okay. All right. Does Cook County have other construction projects coming out in the near future? And where should Contractor access upcoming project opportunities?
Yes. So there's always new projects coming down the pike. And so so two things. One is you can always email me and we can connect. The other thing is I recommend registering with e-procurement through the Cook County Procurement Office. By registering there, you'll get every single contract opportunity that comes out directly in your inbox.
Gotcha. All right. Well, you just heard from the Director of Contract Compliance, Edward Oliveri from Cook County. Edward, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it. And we'll be sure to blast out that information on the Jock sessions to our membership as well, and our social media networks too. So definitely look forward to it.
Thank you so much, Jorge, and thank you to all the members for attending today.
All right, thank you. And with that, it comes up to that's a wrap up. That's the end of our program for this morning. Again, I want to thank Edward Oliveri, Director of Contract Compliance from Cook County, and also Ray Gitteroff, the Director of Chief Development Director of the Public Building Commission of Chicago. Appreciate your opportunity. You're joining us this morning, and thank you very much to all of you who joined us. Again, if you want to make sure you get updates on this, make sure you're subscribed to not only our constant contact email list, our social media networks. Obviously, we're on all of them. But if you want to see this recording again, we'll be on YouTube, and also we'll be blasting it out as well. So that brings us to the end. I want to thank all of our sponsors who made this event possible. And I also want to thank all of you for joining us. And for those of you who are a member, thank you. Until next month, I want you to stay safe. Hopefully you get an opportunity to join us at our HACIA Scholarship Education Foundation golf outing on October 1st. And we'll see you soon. I'm Jorge Perez. Have a good day.